Ayan walks into class empty-handed and says, "My cat ate my homework." The next day, his teacher reports that same excuse to the principal. Ayan said that his cat had eaten his homework.
Compare those two statements. The teacher kept the core message intact, but she deliberately altered the student's original phrasing. When we repeat what someone else said, we choose between two distinct methods. We either use direct speech to repeat their exact words, or we use indirect speech to adapt those words into our own sentence. If his teacher needs to relay that exact excuse to the principal, she cannot simply repeat his words verbatim without causing confusion. She has to adapt the phrasing for a new listener. Taking a speaker's original statement and accurately packaging it for a third party is the core function of reporting speech. This umbrella graphic represents reported speech. It serves as the master category for any time we tell someone what another person said. Beneath it, we have two distinct methods to relay that information: direct speech and indirect speech. Students often assume these are competing categories. They are actually complementary subsets that operate entirely within the reported speech framework. Looking at this split screen, the direct path on the left uses quotation marks to lock in exact phrasing. The indirect path on the right alters the grammatical structure but preserves the original meaning. Let's test this mechanism. Look at the new statement on screen. "I love biryani." Is this direct or indirect? Check the punctuation. Look closely at how the sentence is framed. It is direct speech. Identifying those quotation marks is the first step before you can attempt any structural conversion.
The information didn't change, but the structure did. These two sentences demonstrate the mechanics of reported speech, the system we use to relay what someone else said across different points in time. Reported speech is the general category. It applies to any situation where you repeat or summarize another person's words. There are two specific ways: direct speech, repeating words exactly, and indirect speech, summarizing the meaning. Understanding this distinction allows you to choose between the emotional impact of a quote and the efficiency of a summary. Direct speech follows specific punctuation rules. To get it right, you need 4 components: reporting verb, comma, speech marks, and capital letter. Look at this unpunctuated sentence. Ayan said, "I am hungry." Without those markers, it's just a string of words. To turn it into direct speech, you have to place the comma and the quotes in their exact positions. These punctuation marks signal to the reader that the words are verbatim, an exact record. Converting direct speech into indirect speech requires a triple shift. "I am tired today" becomes "he was tired that day." First, the pronoun I shifts to he. Second, the verb am shifts to was. Finally, today changes to that day for the future perspective. These 3 shifts, pronoun, tense, and time, ensure the sentence remains logically sound when moving from a quote to a report. Authors use direct speech to create immediate drama. The exact quote, "Ayan, sit down," creates tension. With indirect speech, that suspense completely disappears. Direct speech creates emotional focus, while indirect speech covers information quickly to keep the story moving. Now apply the triple shift yourself. You have 10 seconds to convert these 3 quotes into indirect speech. Focus on the pronouns, the tenses, and the time words. Let's see how you did. "I love cricket" becomes "he loved cricket." "I am sleepy" becomes "he was sleepy." And "my cat ate my homework" becomes "his cat had eaten his homework." Successfully navigating these shifts shows that you can maintain the logic of a conversation, even when the perspective changes. This is your framework for reported speech: the umbrella of direct versus indirect, the punctuation rules for quotes, and the triple shift checklist for summaries. To end on a final example, Ayan just said, "Ma'am, can I go home?" Miss Fatima reported this to the class by saying, "Ayan said that he wanted to go home." You can now use these tools to report information accurately or use direct quotes to sharpen the focus of a scene. Subscribe for more writing guides and tell us in the comments, what do you think Ayan said next?